Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is the Season 6 best classes to use for Rebirth Island. We are very fast approaching Vanguard. This weekend coming up, it is really exciting to see how the changes are going to impact the Cold War meta at the moment, with a lot of guns from Cold War being the top picks. It's been really great to see the balance of Warzone be really tinkered around with, changed up, and I feel like it's in a really great place. Saying that though, there are some guns that do shine above the rest, and we're going to explore through the top 10 classes right now in Warzone Season 6. So the number one class by far is the EM2 and the OTS. Both of these weapons are definitely the top pick for assault rifles and SMGs right now because of their incredible time to kill and very manageable recoil. The EM2 is a beam over range. We want to use the agency suppressor, the task force barrel. Both of these give bullet velocity, damage range, as well as recoil control. Field agent grip to help the recoil further because the EM2 does bounce around a lot. The 50 round mag is my preference, however the 40 round mag does help you with aim down sight speed. And the 3x scope, by far my favorite pick, especially now that you can chuck that blue dot on there. It's super clean, but the EM2 is a monster over range. Speaking of monsters, the OTS absolutely destroys up close. It's got fantastic movement speed, and what I really love about the OTS is the strafe with the Spetsnaz stock. You really just fly from side to side. It helps with your movement, helps with your sprinting movement speed. It's great to really outmaneuver your enemies. Throw on the Tiger team to help that even further. The task force barrel also gives strafe speed as well as effective damage and bullet velocity. Cruise suppressor supports that even further. And then the 40 round fast mag. I really don't notice the ADS speed. I feel like this is much more beneficial than the 40 round mag just because you fly through bullets with this gun. Throwing knife as well helps out that small magazine size to finish off your kills. This is by far the best class right now in Warzone Season 6. If the EM2 is number one, then the AK47 from Cold War is definitely number two. This thing is a beast over range. It's just got such a great TTK, and it's also very great up close as well. This is the long range build with the cruise suppressor, the RPK barrel, the Spetsnaz grip for all those benefits to bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil control. 45 round mag here is more than enough because of that slower fire rate, and then the 3x to help out over range. Using the PPSH, this gun is starting to finally get some love. The only difference here for my SMG build is I use the Raider stock. The Raider stock has got better sprint to fire time, and with the PPSH, it still has that open bolt delay. You want to really work on having that sprint to fire to make sure this gun starts outputting damage as quickly as possible. Using the Tiger team, task force, cruise suppressor again for those benefits to damage range, bullet velocity, and strafe speed. The 55 round drum here is more than enough for the PPSH. This is a great class to run again on Rebirth Island. The number one LMG in the game right now is still the MG82. This thing just outputs damage like a ridiculous bullet hose. This thing just destroys people. The agency suppressor here again to help out with the bullet velocity, damage range, and also making sure you've got some recoil control because this thing does bounce a lot. That's why I'm using the field agent grip here as well, and the task force barrel to help with the recoil. And then I'm using the 3x. You can definitely use a side of preference on here. A lot of versatility with the MG, using the 125 round mag, but you could definitely change that out for the Serpent Wrap to help with the ADS. This thing is an absolute beam, and it's one of the best guns to use over range. Pairing this up with the LAPA, the new SMG in the game right now, it is quite fun to use. However, the tricky iron sights can make this thing quite difficult, but I just feel like this thing kills so fast close range. The key here is to put on the 7.9 rifled barrel here to help with damage and fire rate. It makes a huge difference. Again, agency suppressor, the Tiger team spotlight, using the 45 round fast mag, as I feel like the 50 just reloads too slow, especially if you've got a lot of enemies respawning in Rebirth, and then the combat stock for that fantastic strafe speed as well. A great class to run, and definitely the best LMG in the game. The third best assault rifle right now is the XM4. The XM4 is a much different playstyle to the EM2 and the AK47 because of that faster fire rate, but this thing melts, and I feel like the recoil is extremely easy to manage, which is why you get a bit more versatility with the XM4. Again, it's that same setup, the agency suppressor and the task force barrel with the field agent grip to help with recoil control and damage range. The great thing about the XM4 is you also get 60 rounds, so you just get to keep that pressure on. Plenty of bullets to get those downs and thirsts, and then the 3X as well. You could definitely experiment by taking off the field agent grip, maybe adding on a radar pad, combat stock, or even a rear grip to help with the ADS, because of that recoil control with the XM4 is so easy to manage. Using the MP5 from Cold War, this thing is right there with the OTS in terms of time to kill. It melts people up close, and the iron sights are really great if you don't run a barrel. I feel like you don't need a barrel with the MP5 because that damage range is quite good in the same room. You're not really using this for that 15-20 meter range because the recoil is really hard to manage. So if you manage your fights, you get up close, you make sure you're working buildings, this thing is a beam. Using the agency suppressor here to extend that damage range out a little further, as well as some recoil control. The bruiser grip to make this a monster with movement speed and hip fire. 50 round drum, using the Tiger Team Spotlight for that help and benefit to ADS and movement speed. And then the combat stock for the strafe. This is a fantastic class. It just pours damage. So everyone needs a ghost loadout with fully loaded. It's super important, especially if you're coming back late game with no ammo, or you just need to grab ghost to get the upper hand. Having a fully loaded loadout is incredible to just spread out some ammo sometimes. The best option for that, in my opinion, is the Grau. The reason why the Grau is so great right now is the iron sights are fantastic, and it's decent up close as well as at range. This is definitely not going to win you a lot of fights, but it's not the worst weapon to have in this situation. Monolithic, Archangel, Commando foregrip, 60 round mag, and then fully loaded. You also want to grab the Psychov pistol as well with fully loaded, using the Monolithic, the auto barrel, tac laser, and then the 80 round drum. This is what you grab when you're desperate. It's fantastic to have in those late game situations. My sniper support and sniper of choice right now is the Bullfrog and the Swiss. I feel like the Swiss is taking over the Kar98 as the best sniper in the game. It just feels like it hits shots that the Kar98 doesn't. It's also great if you chest shot someone, as this thing does so much damage. Using the GRU suppressor for the maximum bullet velocity as well as effective damage range. The combat recon here gives that bullet velocity even more of a boost, making this thing feel like hit scan on Rebirth Island. The 5mW laser here for the stability as well as ADS time. Using the bruiser grip as well for more aiming stability. Making sure that after you take the shot, the reticle recenters really nicely. The airborne elastic wrap as well. You don't get as much aim down sight speed as you get with the serpent wrap, but again you get flinch resistance, and that is huge if someone is taking shots at you, to take a steady aim and just ping that headshot to get the down. The Bullfrog is a great sniper support. This thing is a monster, especially on Rebirth Island with this 85 round mag. Using the GRU suppressor, the task force barrel, and the Tiger Team with the PKM stock for the strafe speed as well. The Bullfrog is a really reliable SMG. It's great to run as well with a assault rifle in a secondary situation, but I feel like this really shines as a sniper support on Rebirth Island. The next class, we are here with the FARA. The FARA has overtaken the Krig, in my opinion, after all of the nerfs. Using the GRU suppressor here with the RPK barrel to really help out with the recoil control and the damage range. This thing really relies on hitting upper, torso, and headshots because of the nerfs to damage. However, if you are hitting those shots, the multiplier is really helpful and helps melt enemies. Using the Spetsnaz grip here for the recoil control, the 60 round mag, and then the 3X. Backing this up with the MAC10. The MAC10 is still one of the best SMGs because of its insane fire rate. It just pours out damage, meaning that you get through and down enemies so quick. The agency suppressor, that task force barrel, Tiger Team, as well as the 53 round drum. And again, using that second last stock, the combat stock here for the strafe speed. The MAC10 is still fantastic on Rebirth Island. Pairing it up with the FARA, this is a really reliable class. In Season 6, there is such fantastic ground loot, especially the SMGs. You can afford to pick up Ghost off the rip and use an SMG secondary, and that's why I'm going with the AMP63. The AMP63 here is a fantastic pistol if you don't want to pick up a SMG off the ground, but the AMP really feels like a pocket SMG with its fantastic movement speed. Using the agency suppressor for all those benefits to recoil control as well as bullet velocity. I prefer the extended barrel on the AMP. You get no cons and you get even more bullet velocity. I feel like with the Task Force, there's just too much recoil to try and use this as an effective pistol. Tiger Team here for the benefits to movement speed as well as some strafe. The Serpent Wrap for the extra ADS. If you're using a pistol, you really want it to aim down sight quickly. And then the Salvo 30 round fast mag. And I'm using the M4 from Modern Warfare. I think this is a really slept on assault rifle right now. This thing is a monster. It's got good recoil control and it downs enemies so quick. Using the monolithic suppressor here to help with the damage range. I prefer going the M16 Grenadier barrel over the Corvus Custom Marksman. It just feels better for me because of the recoil feels slightly different. Commando foregrip, and then the 60 round mag. This is one of the best assault rifle options to run right now, and it's great to see some Modern Warfare guns getting some love. Speaking of Modern Warfare guns, my two favorite Modern Warfare guns to use right now together are the Kilo and the MP5. The Kilo is an absolute laser beam with its very low recoil. On Rebirth Island, this is a perfect assault rifle. Not so much for Verdansk because the bullet velocity and damage range at that third damage range drop off, it feels like you're shooting pebbles at people. However, Rebirth Island is perfect. Using the monolithic suppressor again for that damage range boost and sound suppression. Using the Vanguard 19.8 barrel here for damage range, bullet velocity and some recoil control. The 60 round mag, using the 3X, the VLK optic to help be precise with shots over range, and then the Commando foregrip. The MP5 from Modern Warfare is a fan favorite, and that is because it just slaps up close, and the hipfire is still fantastic on this thing. The Merc foregrip with the 5mW laser really help with hipfire. Using the integral monolithic suppressor to get that extra attachment, you get sound suppression as well as bullet velocity here. The 45 round mag and sleight of hand. I feel like this thing reloads a little too slow for Rebirth Island, especially with 45 rounds in the mag. However, you could use that collapsible stock for movement speed if you can manage the reloads. This is by far my favorite Modern Warfare class to use in the game right now. And finally, we have a shotgun to fit into the meta. I still think that the Gallo is the best shotgun to use in the game. And on Rebirth Island, this thing can just clear out a room so quickly. Here we've got the agency choke to help with bullet velocity and the damage range. You really want to be boosting out the damage range as much as you can with the shotgun. The reinforced heavy here helps that effective damage range again, but also gives fire rate to be able to get those quick shots in and down enemies. The target designator I think is the way to go. You have no negatives to your hip fire as well as your sprint to fire time, but you do get hip fire boost as well as more damage range. The 12 round tube is a must to be able to get the maximum bullets to get your downs. And I prefer to go with no stock because it does not affect the hip fire as much, but you do get sprint to fire speed to be able to quickly get your downs and thirsts of enemies. Make sure as well you are running a throwing knife if you are using a shotgun. It just helps thirst those enemies and you don't have to waste time reloading this thing. Also using the QBZ here. The QBZ is a very underrated rifle right now. It's got great damage over range and it's also got very manageable recoil. The agency suppressor, task force with field agent, again that meta setup. 60 round fast mag here. I don't think I noticed the ADS penalty at all with the QBZ, and then the 3X. So there you have it, guys. Lots of great classes to run right now in Warzone Season 6. I cannot wait for the Vanguard weapon integration to see how that shakes the meta up again. With 10 attachments on weapons, it's going to be crazy. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and if you found some classes to use, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Thanks again for watching.